Three different planes. The NX Cub, this is actually the NX Cub, the JMB VL-3 and the Icon A5. What do they have in common? All three are equipped with the Garmin G3X Touch. This is the Garmin G3X Touch, so in this tutorial we will attempt different ILS landings with these three planes. Our airport is Makedonia Airport, Greece. Two runways, runway 1634 with an ILS frequency and runway 10 which also has an ILS frequency. So with the NX Cub we will depart from runway 34 and we will try to land ILS on runway 16. Please keep notes and try to understand the logic of the Garmin avionics, of the Garmin G3X Touch. The procedure is exactly the same and this will be quite helpful because in all three planes more or less you have to follow the same procedures. So we bring the autopilot features. I hope my cursor is visible here. Our flight director is on. We set the heading of 16, 160 degrees. We will land from the other side of the runway. 1634. Okay. We set an altitude of 2000 feet. I can use the keyboard commands. So CTRL plus page up. 2000. And the vertical speed of 400. Good. I think I changed my mind. I will keep the heading of the runway 34 340 because I want to use the autopilot. So okay, back to 340, which is the heading of our runway, and I set heading here in standby mode. The rest for later. Let us depart. I turn on the sound again. Good. I have to release my parking brakes and actually I don't think that there is any plane that has such an inconvenient position for the parking brakes. Actually, if you don't know where they are, you cannot even find them. They are somewhere here. Okay, they are released. Well, if you want to see where exactly they are, yeah, here it is. Totally inconvenient here. Okay, that was the useless information of the day. So let's leave. There is no gear. I think there is no gear, isn't it? Yes. Okay. And I engaged my autopilot somewhere here. Good. Autopilot is engaged. Only the interesting parts of these flights, needless to say. Here is the runway, runway 1634. We left from runway 34 and we will land from the other side, runway 16. Meanwhile, I think I can have some additional arrangements. This is quite important. We said that in order to bring the autopilot features, I hope my cursor is visible, you press here, okay? Here exactly. So now in order to set your ILS frequency, you press here, COM1 and NAV1. And 34 has an ILS frequency of 110.5 30. Transfer. Okay. And then you go here on the compass and you set from GPS mode to lock mode. Okay, so you see the arrow from the other side points exactly at runway 16. And by the way, ignore this indication here, this red warning. I mean, no matter what I do, no matter how much I reduce my throttle, it always appears. This is for all three planes that we will examine. Let us have a look at Thessaloniki. Wonderful views. My hometown. The harbor. But this is not the tutorial about, isn't it? About the harbor. I mean, it is about ILS landings. Yeah, this is really spectacular. It really is. Hotel Makedonia and the White Tower. Yeah, here it is. Exactly here. A dedicated scenery for the town from the developer Thessaloniki. It is always a pleasure to fly above Thessaloniki. Okay. So more or less we are about to reach 2000 feet and we will stabilize at 2000 feet exactly. Here it is. Altitude stabilized. 2000 feet exactly. Good. I can as well retract my flaps. Yeah. So I will turn 180 degrees. I think I'm on heading mode, isn't it? Yes, I am. Okay. Indeed. In a previous tutorial I was saying don't be afraid to use the instruments. Since we use the autopilot, we are safe. Okay. As I said many times, having an ILS frequency doesn't mean that you will have an ILS landing. You must be established on the localizer and on the glide slope. You must have both lateral and vertical navigation. Shall I climb higher? Maybe I will. I'm still using the heading mode. Okay, seems we are established on the localizer, but we are not established on the glide slope yet. Maybe we are, I mean, glide slope here seems it is activated, however we don't descend. So better to keep an eye on this. Exactly here, isn't it? This is our glide slope. So I suppose we will start descending automatically. This is not totally correct. I mean, at the moment we are not established on the localizer. I don't know why this green here appeared. So as I said also other times, I will not risk it, and somewhere here exactly I disengage and I engage again the approach mode. So runway 16 is right in front of us. We are both established now on the localizer. We see here this green line. There is no deviation, and we see also that we are established on the glide slope. I mean, you can as well have a look here. Autopilot, localizer, glide slope, all green. Approach mode is on. We are safely descending, and soon we will have a successful, I want to believe, ILS approach on runway 16. Kalamaria district, and the airport is right in front of us. This camera I like a lot, the last one, this one here. Excellent. It is good always to monitor your glide slope here. It must be in the middle, otherwise you may be established on the glide slope, but if you don't pay attention, maybe you will lose this guidance, the vertical guidance I mean. So keep an eye here better. At the moment both are perfect. I mean, we have a perfect localizer here, horizontal navigation, and glide slope here, vertical navigation. My speed is pretty low. Okay. As you will see, there will be a small deviation. We will not be that perfectly lined up with the runway, but of course we will disengage our autopilot soon. So you have to remember these two things. In order to have an ILS landing, you must be established on the glide slope and on the localizer. I think I will disengage my autopilot now and I will go to land. I can as well set first scale of flaps, F7. And here is runway 16. Okay, good. Here it is. Everything is just fine, and I think it is time to evacuate the runway and choose another plane this time. Okay. Good. Okay, we continue with another plane. This time we have the JMB VL-3, an excellent plane. Again, Makedonia Airport. This time we will depart from runway 28 and we will land on runway 10. We will follow exactly the same procedure, which means that we will set the heading of the runway 28, 280 degrees. There is a tutorial how to fix this knob here, because otherwise the bug here, the heading bug, doesn't work, and I would strongly suggest you to have a look. So 280 degrees. Otherwise the plane is useless, I mean, if you don't fix the heading bug. Okay, this time we have a different ILS frequency since we will land on runway 10. Our frequency is, let me have a look, 109.50. Again here exactly, navigation, 109. That was a mistake. 109. There is no point, isn't it? 50. Transfer, and then we press here on the compass, here exactly. Okay, you follow exactly the same procedure, and we turn from GPS mode to lock mode. Here it is, and you see this green line here from the other side of the runway is the auto, since we will land on runway 10. We bring the autopilot features. How do we do this? We said that we press here, okay? So once again, flight director is on. Heading mode is in standby mode here, since we haven't activated the autopilot yet. This time I will set an altitude of 1600 feet. I use again the commands. Okay, and I also set a rate of ascent of 400 feet, and I use again the commands CTRL plus. Home is this one. Okay, good. First scale of flaps. Excellent. Once again I release my parking brakes, which are here this time. Okay, and we're good to go. I think we have a gear now, isn't it? Yes, indeed. So I retract my gear and I engage my autopilot. Good. And we're climbing to 1600 feet this time. Excellent. It is another runway this time. Okay, we departed from runway 28 and we will land ILS on runway 10. Exactly here. My new camera setup for the JMB VL-3. Again, only the interesting parts of the flight. Good. Whatever you see green, for instance here, means it is activated, and whatever is with white color, it is in standby mode. This is a basic principle actually. Exactly. Alt S, which means altitude stabilized at 1600 feet. Ignore this red warning. I've said this also other times. No matter what I do, I cannot avoid it, even when I'm inside the speed limits. For some reason, it is mostly this useless warning on. It is good to reduce your speed when you're turning, so that you can turn easier. We are still on heading mode, isn't it? So, let's go for it. Runway 10. Okay. You see the glide slope going down. I will change my heading slightly. There is a deviation. Please have a look here, exactly. Everything is just perfect. The glide slope is in the middle, and I activate approach mode. So we have an ILS landing. We have both vertical and lateral navigation. I can as well extend my gear down. And we're good to land on runway 10 this time. This runway is more precise. I mean, here the ILS landing from runway 10 is more precise. We don't have any deviation. As I used to say, having an ILS frequency and activating the ILS approach doesn't mean that you will have a perfect vertical and lateral guidance, but with runway 10 till the end, everything works just fine, and we disengage the autopilot later when we are close to the threshold of our runway. And meanwhile, it is good to monitor our instruments. Glide slope is in the middle. The green line here shows exactly the direction of our runway, runway 10. We are descending, and soon we will land with an ILS approach on runway 10. This time, I repeat, we have the JMB VL-3. You see, there is no deviation this time. And I can as well bring them up here, isn't it? Right, Alt, and you press here. Good. I can as well set the first scale of flaps. Okay. You see, everything is just fine with runway 10. I cannot say the same for runway 16. A speed of about 70 knots. Okay. I'm still on autopilot. Okay, I disengage my autopilot. Gear is down, isn't it? Yes, it is. Always check this out. Not the perfect time for a call. A speed of about 60 knots. Ladies and gentlemen, once again welcome to Makedonia Airport. Okay, good. So, I can close this window. We can once again leave the runway. And we can continue with the Icon A5 this time, which is a little bit more complicated, the truth is. Good. Excellent. I can as well set my parking brakes, if this is so important. And I can as well turn off the engine, isn't it? Okay. Battery, avionics. Okay, good. This will be our last flight. We have the Icon A5, and this time we will depart from runway 28, runway 1028, and actually we will try to land to the other runway, to runway 1634. The plane is also equipped with the Garmin G3X Touch. This time, however, you have to download the autopilot and the Garmin avionics. There is a tutorial about it. You may have a look. I hope the link is visible on the upper right corner of the clip. And this plane is more sophisticated because, as you know, we don't have any knobs, which means that we bring the autopilot features, we press here. I hope my cursor is visible. Now there is no knob to set the heading, isn't it? I mean, there is nothing, so how do we do this? Here you see heading up and heading down. So I will set the heading of our runway, which is 28. Okay. I can as well have a full view of my primary flight display, pressing here inside the compass. Exactly. And then we go here, split, and we go to flight plan. So I go nav 1, the ILS frequency of runway, let me have a look. Yes, the ILS frequency of runway 1634 is 110.30. Transfer. Excellent. And then we press inside the compass here and we change from GPS mode or navigation mode to lock mode. So again we see that we have the localizer. And once again I can as well go to my autopilot settings, which are here. Heading mode in standby mode, flight director is activated. I can use the knobs in order to change my altitude, or I can use the keyboard commands. Okay, I will use the knobs here, Alt up and Alt down. Let's say an altitude of 1600 feet. Excellent. The vertical speed CTRL plus home. So Alt V. I hope it is visible here exactly. A rate of ascent of 500 feet. Good. I can as well set my flaps first scale. Excellent. And more or less I think we're good to go. I can release my parking brakes, which are somewhere here. I have to restore my camera view and we depart. Gear is retracted. And somewhere here I can activate my autopilot. Good. I can as well retract my flaps now. Okay. We see the glide slope appeared. However, we are on heading mode right now. So I will change my heading using the knobs here. And maybe I can as well descend to 1400 feet. Okay. With a rate of descent of 400 feet per minute. The runway is from the other direction. We will land on runway 16, so let us turn about 180 degrees. And this is exactly what we do right now. We keep an eye here on this parallel line, the green line here. Approach. Okay. Excellent. I hope this time we will be lined up with runway 16. Please have a look at the glide slope. And soon this quiet GS will turn to green glide slope. Now it is not active. We are only established on the localizer. Let me see. The moment of truth. Excellent. GS. Glide slope is activated and we have an ILS landing. We have both lateral and vertical guidance. Gear is down. I can as well set my flaps. First scale. And we will be landing on runway 16. Kalamaria district once again, Thessaloniki. Now, for instance, okay, I don't pay attention at this wonderful scenery here, but I also have a look here at my speed, which is about 65 knots something. I don't have to worry that much because we are lined up with the runway, not perfectly. We said that the other runway is better, runway 10. But anyhow, there's nothing to worry about, and soon we will land on runway 16 this time, isn't it? If we have a look here, on the compass I mean, okay. We see we are heading exactly on runway 16. Yes, you see, for instance, now we veer slightly. Maybe this time not that badly. We are still on autopilot. And also pay attention to this. For instance, now I will disengage the autopilot. Have a look. You see? For a second we lose control of the plane. This doesn't happen with the JMB VL-3 and also with the NX Cub. Okay. Of course I will not record my landing. My speed is quite high, I would say about 80. But still we have plenty of runway. Okay. .60 knots. Throttle on idle. Okay, good. Can I turn somewhere here? I think not. If I turn, I will enter the other runway. Runway 1028, isn't it? So, let us exit the runway, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is all for now. I just wanted to show you the ILS landing using the Garmin G3X Touch. We tried 3 different planes, the NX Cub, the JMB VL-3 and the Icon A5. The Icon A5 actually has the autopilot features, and the Garmin G3X Touch avionics equipped with an add-on from Flight SimTO. Maybe I will park this time close to the airport. I would strongly suggest you to learn these 3 planes. Okay. I can as well set my parking brakes. Okay. Yeah, fuel is somewhere here, the fuel valve. Battery is off, and the key of your Ferrari. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all for now. Thank you for watching this clip and hope to see you soon to the next one. Till then, you take care and bye for now.